Unless you're frame perfect 99 out of 100 times, you're not good enough.
Let's turn back the clocks. It's 2007, and over in Santa Fe Springs, California, something remarkable was about to occur. Crews for the national tournament Zero Challenge 3 were coming to a close, with two expected teams facing off in grand finals, East Coast and Crazy Return. 10 of Melee's strongest players at the time were set to face off, featuring familiar names on either side like Ken, Isaiah, PC Chris, and Mewtwo King. But this story doesn't go the way you may expect. It's not the story of one team prevailing over the other in true miracle fashion. It's not the story of a strong team being able to overcome bigger talent. Honestly, it's just the story of one guy. One player who broke every metric of normalcy in this game. A player who turned his crew into essentially a one-man show at this event. More often than not, taking 5 stocks, that is, winning a full game against a fresh opponent and a single stock against the following player, is considered an above-average performance for crews. Now forget everything I just said, and imagine taking 16 against some of the best players in the world. One of the most interesting formats in competitive Melee is the crew battle. For those unfamiliar, a crew battle is almost exactly as it sounds. A team of often 5 players, or a crew battling against another team of 5 players. Players compete in a 1v1 match, but unlike the more traditional singles or doubles formats, the match winner will carry over their remaining stocks to the following match until they are fully defeated. This process continues in a handful of 1v1s until one crew runs out of stocks. It's a variant of team battles found in many Japanese 2D fighters, where teams of players may each control a different character, or a single player may control a party of characters but with only one being played at a time. Kish Squared, an Indiana Smash player and member of the team Ship of Fools, was the first to bring this structure to Melee, but it wasn't without a bit of tweaking. August 9th, 2003 saw Melee's first ever crew battle, as well as the inaugural event hosted by Ship of Fools in a tournament called Midwest Challenge. It ended up becoming more or less a dry run for the Melee FC series, which would see great success during Melee's early years, alongside a reboot event in 2015, which, fun fact, I went to. But perhaps more importantly though, was Midwest Challenge marking the birth of the crew battle. The Punch Crew, a combined Ohio and Chicago crew featuring Eddie, V, Lazy Nova, Camper Bob, and Snex, would take on Kish Squared and the Ship of Fools, a crew consisting of 2 sets of siblings, Joshu and Ignatius, plus the aforementioned Kish Squared and his 2 brothers, Kish Prime and the late Kish Cubed, who unfortunately passed away in 2005. This first iteration of the format didn't track stocks between matches, meaning the winning team would have their player enter the following match with 4 new stocks to work with every time. Ship of Fools ended up taking out 4 members of Punch Crew, assisted largely in part to the regaining stocks clause, but Eddie, the last member of Punch Crew, would also take advantage of stocks being fully replenished between sets, and he would end up defeating 4 members of Ship of Fools in return before falling to Kish Squared. The initial design of the crew's format certainly had its flaws. Teams could theoretically bring out their best player to completely sweep an event, which left much to be desired in terms of skill expression for the remaining team members. From there, the original idea of tracking stocks between sets was soon implemented, and crew saw an increase in popularity just a year later at the first Melee FC, also hosted by Ship of Fools. Ship of Fools and the FC series at large set the groundwork for crew battles to follow, and we still use pretty much this exact rule set to this day. Crews as an event always brings a ton of hype. It's a great way to carry out regional rivalries, and they're always fun, but it's unfortunately a competitive design that tends to play second fiddle to those traditional tournament brackets. They're commonly held at national level events, mostly as a side event at this point, but they still hold a lot on the line in the way of pride and bragging rights. And on July 22nd, 2007, it wouldn't be at Midwest Challenge, but instead the tournament Zero Challenge 3, where a modest 228 attendees would bear witness to one of the single greatest crews performances in Melee's history. Zero Challenge 3, also known as OC3 or 0C3, was the third installment to a tournament series held by the crew's SoCal Elite Four, a team consisting of Ken, ManaCloud, Arash, and Veg. This crew became popularized for hosting the Zero Challenge series from 2004 to 2007, and the second and third iterations were some of the largest tournaments Melee had seen in that era, bringing in well-known players from the US and across international waters. One such international competitor was the legendary Bomb Soldier, a top-level, atypically aggressive Falco of the generation, whose first trip to America was to be celebrated at Zero Challenge 3. Both he and his brother Disc were flown out to the tournament with a small funding effort made where players could pay towards their travel costs to play a best-of-5 set against either player. Stateside, we would see a handful of Melee's A-list: Ken, PC Chris, Isaiah, Chudat, Mewtwo King, even Mango making his first ever national tournament appearance in his career. This tournament was stacked, which made the upcoming crew battle all the more appealing. Only 7 crew battle VODs of the event exist to this day, one of which features East Coast, one of our Grand Finals representatives. The other team to make it to Grand Finals was far more represented in the archives of this event, showing in over half of the available crew battle VODs, and they went by the name Crazy Return. Crazy Return was a bit of a flash-in-the-pan team, mixing United States and international talent. Ken and his older brother ManaCloud would step away from their home crew of SoCal Elite Four to team up with the highly anticipated Bomb Soldier, Bomb Soldier's brother Disc, and Ken's doubles teammate Isaiah. This created a pretty remarkably solid core of 5 members, and their skill was obvious. Ken and Isaiah were widely regarded as the strongest doubles team from 2004 to 2006, Bomb Soldier is still remembered as one of the most influential Falco players of all time, and the older brothers in ManaCloud and Disc rounded out the roster with respectable results through their careers leading up to this event. While East Coast waited comfortably in Grands after taking out more teams you might have heard of, like the Bayesians, a crew which spawned the Wombo combo just a year later, Crazy Return would go on a run of their own, beating out the crews Death by Asians, Super Crazy Friends, and DBR. Super Crazy Friends, with Hugs as their headline player, would come within 2 stocks of winning, with Disc, the other Marth player for Crazy Return alongside Ken, closing the door on the set. Meanwhile, DBR, featuring a more well-known roster by today's standards with Bob Money, DSF, Zelgadis, The Germ, and The King, would keep Crazy Return within 1 stock for the entirety of the crew battle, until ManaCloud Samus clutched out a second 2-stock victory for the team. With all that out of the way though, the crew battle many were excited to see was on the horizon: Crazy Return versus East Coast. And I think if you asked any of the 228 attendees at this event, they would probably say that these 2 crews were pretty expected to go all the way, and it wouldn't be without reason. Crazy Return was really good for the aforementioned reasons. Each of their members in Ken, Isaiah, and Bomb Soldier were world-renowned at this point, and Disc and ManaCloud provided a solid foundation to put it all together. East Coast, on the other hand, had a few of Melee's elites themselves, and they were apparently so good that only 2 of their members were needed to wipe out the highly skilled crew of Crazy Return. Up first is PC Chris on the side of East Coast against Bomb Soldier for Crazy Return, Fox versus Falco. PC Chris takes first blood, but it's not without a fast response from Bomb Soldier just 20 seconds later. Stocks continue to go back and forth, Bomb Soldier PC, but a Power Shield laser grab into jump read puts PC Chris and the East Coast crew on the board first. Crazy Return brings Ken into answer, and shades of the classic PC Chris Ken sets of old show in this Pokemon Stadium game, if only for a brief moment. Ken takes PC out in a short 20 seconds without losing a stock in return, and now it's East Coast players counterpick with both teams at 16 stocks each. Remember how I said taking 5 stocks is typically an above-average performance in crews? Well, this is a thing for a few reasons. Extending your team's potential lead is obviously a huge plus. If a teammate can get in through multiple opponents and chop down the amount of total stocks needed to win the event, that's always a good thing. But counterpicks are equally as important. Even here, as PC Chris takes only 4 stocks against Bomb Soldier, the fact that the next player from East Coast can come in with a comfortable stage counterpick matters a lot. And who knows, maybe that's all it would take, since the next player to enter would end this crew battle. Jason Mewtwo King Zimmerman was a bit of an oddity when it came to competitive Melee. While players like Mango seemed to play the game more off feel, Mewtwo King took enjoying the minutiae to another level. His incredible proficiency in the intricacies of the game, coupled with an acute, optimal, and highly technical playstyle, earned him the apt nickname of the Robot. This branding was also supported by his immense contributions to Melee's player base, especially in the early competitive era, through rigorous playtesting. By himself, Mewtwo made some remarkable discoveries about Melee's mechanics and physics engine, such as character weight, knockback, priority, and character falling speed. M2K's very existence in Melee was almost that of a highly robust Rolodex, a wealth of information coupled with a player capable of putting it into practice. There's a funny quip about M2K in 2007 that gets thrown around from time to time about the legend of 2007 Mewtwo King, but I think it's safe to say that his Punish game, especially in the given year, was probably the best example of this skill and knowledge melding together into something beautiful. And we saw it in full effect at Zero Challenge 3. With stocks tied at 16, Mewtwo would enter this crew battle and completely take over, starting with Ken. And what better a stage to begin this dazzling display of Melee on than what many consider to be M2K's home, Final Destination. In a fresh game, Mewtwo gets right to work with a quick 50% sequence plus stage control. Traded Blows keeps this game looking close at the start, but just a short 30 seconds later, M2K takes the first stock of many with a drop zone fair. Another 30 seconds goes by, and Ken finds a kill on Mewtwo at a staggering 184% to equalize the stock count at 3 each. This would be the last stock Ken would take in this crew battle. The next 20 seconds would consist of Mewtwo completely running Ken over, taking the stock without a single hit from the former King of Smash in return. Just a minute later, M2K puts Ken through a high % execution test. He survives the first forward smash, survives the second forward smash, and the third recovery attempt falls just a little bit short of the ledge. Down 3 stocks to 1, Ken looks to at least get one more on the board for crazy return before going out. He pushes M2K off stage and tries to reverse Dolphin Slash the recovery, but Mewtwo uses a Dolphin Slash of his own, just a few frames before Ken's. The resulting hit is just enough to give M2K an edgeguard with Ken at a measly 6%. The King of Smash, with only 2 stocks taken in this crew battle, is now out of the equation. He calls for his teammate to take the reins. Isaiah comes in and counterpicks to Dreamland 64, up a stock in this segment of the crew battle. A full minute goes by and M2K looks like he's in complete control, finding the first stock of Isaiah's with a down tilt at 205%. 10 seconds later, Isaiah finds an opening off stage that looks promising, but air dodges into the stage for an early second stock gone. Now Isaiah finds the opening over the left ledge with a triple back air, gives up ledge early, and Mewtwo makes it back. A wave dash back F smash resets the positional advantage for Isaiah, and a wave dash off stage into back air seals the deal on Mewtwo second stock. This would be the last stock Isaiah would take in this crew battle. About 15 seconds after losing the stock, M2K 0 deaths Isaiah to bring him to his last stock of the event. Like the end to Ken's set, M2K finds another Dolphin Slash to push Isaiah just far enough from the ledge and end the game. Mewtwo has now taken a full set of stocks from the greatest doubles team of that era. With Isaiah now out, the only players remaining for crazy return were the older brothers Disc and Mana Cloud. Both strong players in their own right, but surely a bit apprehensive of the display M2K has been putting on so far. Disc now enters the crew battle, bringing another Marth Ditto, but this is no Ken. Mewtwo takes all 4 stocks from Bomb Soldier's older brother without losing any of his own. It's now 14 stocks to 4 in favor of East Coast. Mewtwo has 2 stocks remaining on his insane run with the full power of 3 teammates to back him up should he fall here. Crazy Return is on their last player, Ken's older brother Mana Cloud. He locks in Sheik and takes Mewtwo to his cozy home of Final Destination. Like the 3 matches before it, Mewtwo strikes first with a high % back air and brings Mana Cloud within 1 stock. 10 seconds later, Mana Cloud finds a kill off the top to bring M2K to his final stock of the crew battle. After such an incredible performance though, I don't think anyone would even care at this point if Mewtwo let one of his 3 remaining teammates wrap this one up, but this would be the last stock Mana Cloud would take in this crew battle. Mewtwo would end up taking 16 stocks, eliminating 4 entire members of Crazy Return in Ken, Isaiah, Disc, and Mana Cloud to almost single-handedly win Zero Challenge 3 crew battles for East Coast. And even now, over 15 years after the event, I'm still at a complete loss for words. Mewtwo taking 16 stocks in a crew battle from almost 15 years ago may still be remembered by some as the best crew battle performance from a single player. And it's funny, I think if you asked him today, he would probably say that his play in 2007 was the pinnacle of Melee in that era. And honestly, he may be right. He was ranked number 1 on the Retro SSBM rank for 2007, and some consider Mewtwo showing of Marth at Zero Challenge 3 to be the birth of modern Melee. You gotta remember, this was in 2007. Not 2010, not 2015, not 2020, 2007. As author Edwin Budding puts it, 2007 Mewtwo is both a topic of debate and a running gag within the Melee community. This is because of the titular player's simultaneously confident, outlandish, sincere, but ultimately unfalsifiable claims about his own play. As for the rest of the tournament, M2K would finish second in singles, falling just short of the finish line in a winners finals runback versus PC Chris. Mewtwo would advance to grand finals with a 2-1 win against the old school legend, and in the early years of competitive Melee, grands would be played out as a single best of 7 set. PC Chris would earn his way back to a gold medal at this event with a 4-2 victory. As for Ken, he would finish second in teams with Bomb Soldier as his teammate, losing out to Isaiah and the King, and he'd finish his singles run at 4th place, losing out to Mewtwo and PC. Though Mewtwo didn't go all the way at this event, with the convincing 3-stock against Ken and Cruz coupled with another win in the singles bracket, the torch of Melee's best Marth had effectively been passed, despite a first place finish. Zero Challenge 3 had all the makings of a good tournament, especially when you consider the number of entrants against the date, but I feel like everyone there had to have had a soft spot for that crew battle. The dichotomy of 2007 Mewtwo and how he seemed to find himself at the top of any tournament, regardless of bracket, was truly a fantastic thing. It's amazing to see how this game has developed over the years, but peeling the curtain back this far and seeing sheer talent at work is simply remarkable. I think that's what makes Melee so rich in history. Some of the coolest things can happen at the strangest times. It wasn't a singles bracket run to remember. It wasn't an insane team combo in doubles against an unfortunate Fox. No, it was just a wildly impressive performance from a wildly impressive player in a wildly underappreciated and sometimes forgotten about tournament format. This set wasn't Crazy Return versus East Coast. It was Crazy Return versus Mewtwo. And what better a story to tell than one of a player who epitomized the subtleties, the small nuances, and the complex mechanics of the game. It's like he said, unless you're frame perfect 99 out of 100 times, you're not good enough. But on this day, at this small tournament, in this now insignificant crew battle looking at the vast scope of competitive Melee, Jason Mewtwo Zimmerman was frame perfect 100 out of 100 times. And the culmination of that insatiable drive for perfection was 16 stocks, in one of the greatest crew battle performances of all time. Thank you so much for watching this documentary. I hope you enjoyed it, and much gratitude goes to all of my patrons who make videos like these possible, especially Avishua Stein and Brian Malumpy. If you'd like to see more documentaries like this, please consider supporting me on Patreon to get your name in the credits, or check out the merch store over at turndownforwalt.com.